Well, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are across our world. And welcome to another episode of the Buddhist Biohacker. My name is Lisa Gunshore. I am your host, as always, on this mystical ride of life that we live in, especially in 2020. And welcome in to everyone who's joining the live stream. We love to hear your comments, stories, and questions all throughout the live stream. So please feel free to use that comment box. And we're back with a new week, and I'm really excited about our guest today and our topic, which is angel frequencies. And I want to welcome to the show Susan Walter. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you, and I'm sure everyone who's tuning in can see your incredible art that's behind you right now, and you're such a gift. And I'd really love to start out with having you just share a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay, I do a number of different things, actually. I started out, the very first project I started doing over 20 years ago is angel portraits, where I actually see the angels that are with people and draw those. And then just slowly over the year, different projects got added. In 2012, I started the project of drawing mandalas for each of what is called the solfeggio frequencies. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what those are, they are very specific hertz frequencies that they're always 3 digits long. They always add up to either 3, 6, or 9. And these are the frequencies that we use to sing our universe into existence. Therefore, they can help us realign with our original blueprint of who we are meant to be. And different frequencies can help with different things. And there's actually 9 sets of 9 solfeggio frequencies. So there are 81 different mandalas. And then I've also gotten into drawing, just doing some different paintings with acrylic and watercolor that, with different spiritual symbolism in them, and do crystal singing bowl meditations with solfeggio crystal singing bowls. And it's really the angelic frequency is what really ties that all together for me, because solfeggio frequencies are the frequencies that even the angels use to communicate amongst themselves.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're very healing frequencies.
Yeah. How did you come about this?
It's the angel portraits for me, that started. That goes actually back to near-death experiences that I had at the ages of 4 and 6. And during those experiences, I was introduced to some of my own angels, and I was just able to see them all the time after that. And to be honest, I thought everybody else did too for years. And then in 1997, they started showing me everybody else's. And, first thing I did was go into meditation and go, what am I supposed to do with this? And they, told me that they wanted me to start, painting and drawing them. And I was like, so I argued for a good 6 months, to be honest. Because at the time I wasn't in the least bit busy with having 2 teenage sons and 2 toddlers.
Oh, wow.
And another, just minor detail, I didn't know how to paint or draw. So at this point, I consider myself to be angel taught. And then things just seem to continue to get added here and there in the process over the 20-some years.
Wow. Would you mind sharing maybe one of your near-death experiences or what happened? I think that's so interesting, and it's so much a part of the journey of awakening for so many people.
For me, I had what triggered it was I actually had some ruptured hernias. And so I had to have, though it wasn't major surgery, it was still life-saving necessary. And it was during those that, I went to this place the best way I can describe it is, think of the most beautiful garden you've ever seen. Trees the size of which, though I had never even, at the time, not even seen pictures of the redwoods, I would equate them to being that size. They were that big. And it's like, and there was, this tree that I just seemed to be drawn to. There were 3 angels there. And the trees were so tall that even being 15, 18 feet tall, were unable to reach the branches. And there was just, like wildflowers and just all these little animals kind of just everywhere, which, for me, it was kind of north because I grew up on a farm in Iowa. And I was one of those kids that notorious for, if there was a nest of rabbits or mice or snakes or birds, whatever, I found it. And I would just, very gently play with them with them in my fingers and then let them be. But so then the main thing I remember during the experience is being asked if I would like to see the world through the eyes of the animals. And I just kind of went from animal to animal to animal during that experience, where I ended up I was swimming, in the ocean in what probably was a whale. And then all of a sudden I wasn't swimming in the ocean anymore. I was actually like swimming in space.
Oh, wow.
And then I was shown where I was given the choice of where I was lived, at that moment where God, the Creator exhaled and where all our souls were manifested. I was going to what we would think of as the angelic realms or the angelic frequencies. At least, and I had some other beings actually like pull me aside and show me what it would be like if I went to the angelic realm, and what it would be like if I experienced, a physical manifestation, as what they actually called at the moment a world creator, which I'm still trying to figure out what that really means. And it was me and actually 2 other beings at the same time that were being shown this. They both chose to go to the angelic realm, where I chose to, made the choice then to pick, have a physical experience. And then what then transitioned me to wake up at that point, I don't really remember. But I remember waking up in the hospital bed. One of my grandmothers was sitting there at the time, and she was just reading a National Geographic, and it was the one that had the Giza Plateau picture. And my grandmother used to tell me the story that how I said, well, where's the rest of them? And then she come from a very unusual bloodline, and she taught me a lot of things about that history of that, which goes into Knights Templar and because she was Scottish, and from one of the what would have been considered royal families of Scotland.
Wow, that's interesting, Susan, because the Knights Templar, we're coming up upon the October 13th date, which was the big date where a great deal of destruction. And I am Irish, and so my dad's side of the family comes from an Irish bloodline from the O'Toole family, which is actually we have a castle over in Ireland. And my dad's birthday is October 13th.
Oh, wow.
And we are actually, the next global meditation that I'm hosting is on October 13th for reclaiming that date for the Knights Templar. I feel
make sure to watch that.
Well, yeah, and I feel like we should talk about it. Like, what have you learned? Like, when you talk about she comes from this bloodline and the Knights Templar, like through your own experiences, like, what are your thoughts about it? And what have you learned about it? I know it's totally off topic, but not really.
It's from my understanding, they they've, somehow acquired this knowledge that, is quite frankly, it's all of our blood, our birthrights. We all have the right, to this information, of spiritual information. And it's just they thought it was being misused by many at the time. So they kind of, some people would think of it as hijacked it, but they continued to use it, but kept it within a very tight knit group. And I think over the years, there are groups that have misused it for their own personal benefit. But it is our birthright, and so we need to start learning how to use that information for ourselves, for manifesting health, wealth, and abundance in, whatever way that means for us personally.
Absolutely agree. Now so your journey started when you were young, and
Yes.
you had these experiences and connected to the angelic realm. So when it started to come through or to land with you to create these mandalas, what was your process to bring that to fruition? Because I know you said you didn't even know how to paint or any of those things. So
when I started doing the mandalas, that was actually, I was just starting to play with mandalas a little bit because I came across this antique toy that I just thought was so fun. And it was actually called the Hoot Nanny, which,
Wow.
and, it's a very old metal toy, but it's what it is. It's the grandfather to the spirograph.
Oh.
So I started creating mandalas using those kind of as my, as my starting point. And then, and that is what I used to create the very first set of mandalas, those known as the earthly frequencies. And then after that, I did use Photoshop on the computer for the rest of the sets, just to help me a little bit more with the symmetry. So I would do the line drawing on the computer, and then I would print off the line drawing and then color them. And then, they are colored by hand with color pencil. But a lot of times as I continue, because I always listened to that frequency as I was creating that mandala. So sometimes it would change, as I went through that process and continued to, work with that, particular frequency. So then I'd have to go back and of course change the line drawing to match those changes. And then once it was, once then the whole set of 9 would be complete, then I would channel what information went with each frequency.
Oh, wow. And so are these accessible and available?
They are on my website. You can see them on my website with the information that goes with each one. If you'd like, I have created coloring books to go with those, as well as meditation decks. So actually, physical cards, that you can use. And I've used those personally in a number of ways myself, where I've like held them to my body during meditation. I have sat a glass of water or herbs or oils, on top of a card, to charge them with, that energy and that frequency. I've put them under a massage table while I was doing energy work with people. I have one client that she laminated hers and uses them as coasters. One person that I personally have still not done this myself, but I know one person that she puts them in her pillow at night. She has personally found using more than one at a time makes it difficult for her to sleep though.
Interesting.
Yeah, and even doing them with doing energy work with people, I found more than 3 can be, too much. Typically is too much for people.
Yeah.
Just work.
So the question is, when you listen to the frequencies, where did you find them? Like, where are they available?
The easiest way is there are actually frequency apps that you can just download for free on your phone.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and actually on my website, if you scroll down to the very, very bottom, there's a little link that on the footer that says resources. And there I have, I have some of my favorite authors and books and different things, but even I listed down at the bottom the app that I personally use on my Samsung phone for that. And I can even listen to up to 3 different frequencies at the same time if I so choose. And then I did research and found one that a lot of people can use on their iPhone as well. But I'm sure those are not the only 2.
Yeah. So what's your favorite experience you had when you were creating one of these mandalas?
Oh, gee, that's a tough one.
Or maybe a couple experiences.
I know one was actually kind of a funny one. One time here because I live in the Kansas City metro area, kind of down in down the southwest side of town, and a few years ago, in Oakland, I was up at like midnight working on one of these mandalas, and all of a sudden, everything started shaking. We actually felt a 4.6 or something earthquake that was in Oklahoma City.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that was just kind of something kind of, different. And to be honest, at this point, I could tell you it was one of the earthly solfeggios because that was, still back in 2012 when I was, just beginning those. But which one it was, I do not remember for sure. But yeah, so that was kind of an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Not something in Kansas here in Kansas and Missouri, feeling an earthquake is not an everyday experience.
Yeah.
And then, oh geez, I think for me, the one solfeggio frequency that impacted me personally the most was frequency 777, which is the frequency of divine sound. And I think that one, I've had a number of different experiences, just as I went through that one, actually waking up in the middle of the night, hearing, even though that app that plays those frequencies was not on, I was hearing that particular frequency.
Wow. That's so amazing. So tell us a little bit about what you're working on now.
I just this week started a new project, actually continuing with the mandalas, which, to be honest, I didn't think I because I can finish those original 81 in 2018. I did not think I would be drawing any more mandalas, but just this week, I got the confirmation that I'm to do another set of 9 mandalas based on the frequencies for those known as the way showers, which are the group of people that are here to help us manifest and create our new reality as we go through these changes that we're in at the present moment. So I have started the mandala for frequency 144. Actually, it's and this is just in the beginning stages. So the line drawing, I think, is complete, and then I'm just starting to put color in. So you can, I don't know if you can see the color kind of lines go clear to the edge here.
That's good.
Not even a fourth of the way done with the coloring good. Each mandala takes me between 30 and 40 hours to get from start to finish.
That's so why do you think that came up for you right now? I'm so curious.
I think it's the group that has been helping me with this process of the mandalas are a group known as the Guardians of the Solfeggio. And I've always kind of wondered, because kind of when I finished that project, I kind of expected them to for them to move on and go do something else with somebody else, and they have not. It's just like they've been continuing to just hang around to and waiting for something. And I've been wondering for a long time, well, for 2 years. What are we waiting for here? But yeah, I thought maybe it was to help me find a publisher, because these are self-published at this point. But yeah, it's just like in dream time, I just kept seeing these different numbers coming up with the 144, 288, 399. Yeah, I just kept seeing them coming up. So, it was kind of like they finally got the message through, I guess.
Yeah.
I almost feel like they have at this point. It's like they've been probably trying to get me to listen for quite a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the numbers are beautiful, and they're significant to me as well. I mean, there's a lot of work with the genetic structures that comes from those codes. So I just love what you're working on right now. That's pretty awesome.
And it's just, so I am continuing to work on painting projects every day as well. And a lot of times it's because I work a lot with texture in my paintings, and it's kind of interesting how it's like they'll show me like what texture and what shapes they want me to work, create, in that. Like recently, one was literally just kind of like the outline of someone sitting, or maybe even Buddha sitting in a lotus position, and it was just the heart chakra. The symbol for the heart chakra was symbolized very prominently. But it's like, but they don't show me what colors they would like me to use in the painting. So it's like I've got to figure that part out by myself.
That's so cool. What else is accessible to everyone? I mean, what are some of the things that you offer? I mean, obviously you talked about these paintings and your cards and things, but what else do you do in addition to that? Because I know you have, sound healing and all sorts of different.
The crystal singing bowl meditations, I've done them publicly here in the Kansas City for the last several years. But obviously with the things that are going on right now, those are kind of few and far between. But I had a couple years ago, I did go to a sound studio where I did record 2 different crystal singing bowl meditations, and those are available on CD or on download on my website. And I did do during the COVID, I did do 2 that I recorded that are available on my YouTube channel. And what else? I just recently recorded, because the beginning of all those the public crystal singing bowl meditations, I always do a little meditation that, just to help the body relax and then get real grounded and centered with, and balanced with Mother Earth. And then lining up all of the chakras. And so I recently recorded about an 8-minute meditation that you can download on my website as well. It's really, it's just that piece. So it's no crystal singing bowls, just that, that meditation. And I've even been using it a little bit myself, in days when I've gotten things have gotten a little scattered, or I've, just kind of, felt like was a little off kilter. So just because of all the different things in the news that can distract us at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
So, see, and then of course the coloring books and meditation decks are all available on the site. The different original art pieces that are still available. The mandalas are available in prints. If you want to work with them larger. See, and you can schedule if you are interested in doing an angel portrait, or I have recently started doing what I call soul growth readings with meditation decks. So those are all, you can schedule those appointments with me on my website as well. So it seems like a lot.
It is a lot. Tell us about your angel portraits. I really want to do this. I'm really excited about what those are. You want to talk about those a little bit? Because that's pretty cool.
And there always the body in them always seems to be shaped pretty much the same. And their arms are always outstretched because they're ready to exchange energy or embrace in any way whenever you need that. and then, what we think of as wings, the beings made of light do not need wings, but those are like fingerprints. I've seen similarities, but I've never seen two be exactly alike. And then one of the things that started happening here, well, it's almost 2 years ago now. I started seeing it usually starts here at the throat and goes down the center of the body, seeing what the best thing, I'm not sure if it's some sort of light codes or light language, but it is a script that I'm seeing. And I've been told that that is a message from your angels to your higher self. So it is not something we need to consciously understand what it means. But it's like the moment you see that, it's like, the higher self knows what that means. But and all the colors that they show me, and those that means something that has to do with what lessons they're helping you with, what what energies they're bringing into your life. And then I do always also get a name at the end. Now, an angel's name, their full name, would take us about 15 to 20 minutes to pronounce. And because we need something shorter than that, they spell for me a piece of it. So the pronunciation is what feels right to you. There's no right or wrong. It's just what feels right. And if you want to abbreviate it further, that's okay too. See, what else can I tell you about that? But so it's really, they're kind of like, it's like opening a portal to that angelic realm for you, so that and once that's opened, it can never be closed against it. A number of people have talked about how it's like their angels now talk to them all the time. And it just messages just come a little clearer, a little easier. And not just from that angel, but from all of your angels. Sometimes I'll see one with what's wearing like a breastplate, like a piece of armor. And that tells me that that particular angel is your main guardian angel, the one that's been with you not just this lifetime, but all of your lifetimes that you've had in physical form, whether that be here or someplace else. But and that doesn't mean your angels, your other angels, have not been with you multiple lifetimes as well. They'll kind of come, as far as lifetimes, they'll come and go as they're needed. But an angel will never, I can't say never, but it's extremely rare that an angel would ever leave you during your lifetime.
Do people have more than one angel, do you think? Like, what has come through for you?
Everybody has minimum 3.
Okay.
But the more you have with you, the more work you have to do. I'm sure you have way more than 3, because you are here, to assist others through this process. Of the changes that we're going through right now. You're here to assist, so I'm sure you have more, because they're here to help you do, complete those projects.
What do you need to start this process of connecting with their angel?
I know you were cutting out there just a little bit, but connect. Why would they connect with their angels?
What do you need from them to connect?
What do I need from them?
I don't know why, but
I can do it in person. I can do it from a photograph of people. But I know during all this, I've actually been doing them through Zoom.
Oh, okay.
So really the main thing I need to see, as long as I can see somebody's eyes.
Okay.
I found that's what makes it, the easiest. But and then we'll just, and it takes about an hour. And we just sit and chat, and then what information comes through, sometimes angels are like people, some are more chatty than others. So whatever information they choose to share with you, they tend to like show me like snapshots, little photographs. Sometimes that might be of a book cover or a movie, or it might, that of something that might have some information for you. Sometimes it might be, about it, suggesting a class you might need to take, or a book you need to write. Just some kind of guidance about, what you're here to do.
Mm-hmm.
To help you on your soul's journey.
That's so cool. Oh, back. I'm so sorry, you guys. So they connect with you, and you're on Zoom with them, and then are you like, is this coming through you as channeling? Are you drawing? Like, you're doing all of it? How does that work?
I actually physically see them with my 3D eyes at this point. And it's kind of like seeing that ray of sunshine that shines down between the clouds. Yeah, so they're very, very transparent. So I do draw them the color more intensely than I see it. Because I want you to be able to see the drawing when you're like looking across the room at it. But it's like seeing that very, very just transparent ray of light. It's the best way I can describe it.
That's so cool. Explain the new readings that you were talking about that you're kind of adding.
The soul growth readings with the meditation decks, with the mandalas, that's going a little more in depth about what, your soul's journey, where you've been and where you're going, and what steps and things you can do to kind of, to make it a little easier to get to the next stage for you personally. And those are about 30 minutes typically.
That's beautiful. I'm definitely, I want to do that because I think it's just fun. I've channeled, I've been going through all of these old transmissions that I've channeled over the years since about 2006. And I found this particular transmission where I spoke to my angels directly, and they were telling me all this information. And so it just, synchronistically, it just happened to show up when I was going through it the other day. And I knew I was speaking to you today. And I thought, oh, you guys are jumping in with something, which is pretty awesome. So I love that. But what do you think, like, what is the message from the angels? Like, of all the work that you've been doing and everything and what's going on this year, like, what do you feel are the messages from the angels this year for all of us? Like, what has come through for you? And
the big one, this is like, it's kind of like a spiritual reboot. This is a time we need to take to kind of step back and reevaluating what we're doing with our time and our energy. And is it something that really, means something to us or speaks to us in some way? And I'm not saying, if you hate your job and that's not where you're supposed to be, go quit your job. Please don't, because the universe doesn't want you to experience lack. But maybe, if your job isn't what you feel, really called to be doing at this time, maybe, find a way to volunteer doing something that, that really will, lead you to your passion and what it is you really want to be doing with your time. And not just, things we're doing, but, the people that are in our lives, are they really supporting us and helping us in our growth? Is it time to, step back and take some classes, whether that be to, maybe learn Reiki or, or further your career in some way and what you really want to be doing with your life. And to help us create and manifest the world we really want to be living in. It's also a time to people that do mean more to us. And maybe strengthen those relationships. Get to know your neighbors. Those that are around us. We need to be more supportive of each other. Because we're all going through so much, and we're being asked to whatever, quarantine or whatever it is you want to call it. We can go into a lot in that topic, but it's really more about going within, taking that time with self to really find out what really means the most to you.
How has your work?
How has my work changed?
Yeah, especially over this year in particular.
In some ways, I'm almost been called to do the opposite, because it's like I'm stepping out of my comfort zone a lot here in the last few months, like doing stuff like this. To be honest, I'm really not very comfortable with this. Being on camera and being recorded. I'm one of those people. I didn't even like having my photograph taken. My kids, because I've got 4 kids, they've gone back through family photos and mom's not in very many of them. I'm just very uncomfortable. I'm getting better with it, but because like for me, I'm really trying to focus on it. It's really just you and me having a conversation. We're not recording this. Nobody else is listening. But so that's really been the thing for me here the last few months. Is me stepping out of my comfort zone and sharing more of the work that I do.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. How because you've really had this connection to the angels and these gifts really since you were young,
Mm-hmm.
it maybe isn't that your life has changed from it, but I think what I want to ask is, how do you think your life trajectory has changed because of this deep connection with the angels and the angelic realms?
Oh, yeah, I know it's affected, a number of relationships over the years. Some people, I've actually been called crazy. By some, but for me, I can't imagine my life without it. Without having that energy and this experience. If I hadn't, I probably would still be in central Iowa somewhere, on a farm, and having that very simple but hardworking experience, where this has kind of led me to a little bit of a more gypsy type lifestyle, I think. And I probably would not have, been in the big city of Kansas City, which, some may not think of it as a big city, but, we do have a little over 4 million people here in the metro. And I still have to kind of push myself sometimes to, go out into the community and, go to the metaphysical fairs and do different things like that. But I have also found it's where I find the people that are more like mind. Have found my tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And and doing the interviews and things, I'm finding more people in my tribe, and that's another part of it that's been fun too.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I've been introduced to people literally, from all over the world doing angel portraits and readings for them, and that's been fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, having the virtual piece is kind of amazing, isn't it?
And that's something I've really, just added in March. So it is interesting to get viewpoints of people from other countries as we're going through this experience, and seeing the Schumann resonance going all over the place and how that's energetically affecting us, and different things. It's been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. What is one thing that you really want to share with everybody who's listening and watching that we haven't talked about?
All that we haven't talked about, gee. Yeah, the one thing I would ask, find some way during this time, some sort of meditation that you enjoy doing, that you feel comfortable with, even if it's just for a few minutes a day. Please, please do that. Finding a way to find that inner peace within yourself, connecting with Mother Earth. Because, if you're stressed, you're not grounded. And connecting with Mother Earth is one of the best ways and easiest things that you can do to get, so that you're more grounded and more centered. And I know we have, we've got right now, we have a hurricane, another hurricane coming up through the Gulf. So a lot of rain down there, but yet we have California and the whole West Coast, that's on fire. And, so take a moment to, send some peace and loving, healing energy to those areas in need. And I know there's other things going on in other places in the world too. That's just what I know is going on right here in the US. So, take some time to send some loving, healing energy in those directions.
For sure. Susan, I just really loved having you on today. I could talk to you for a long time about the angels. I just really am so grateful that you came on and are willing to share all of your incredible gifts.
Yeah, I just want people to find a way, whatever, to feel more connected to the divine. Because I think if we can feel more connected to the divine, that leads us to feeling more connected to each other.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Oh gosh, well everybody, you guys can find all of Susan's information. It's going across the screen right now. Her website is Susan Walter Art. You can also find all of her information in the show notes. She is also an artist on our oneheartonearth.net Global Healing Collaborative. So you can find her art, some of her art there, and be able to connect with her there. And I'm pretty excited because I definitely would love to experience connecting with the angels with you. I think that's going to be really fun. And I want to give you some space. Anything else you want to share with folks about how to connect with you or how to access you?
You can find me. So I do have the website. I'm also on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook under Susan Walter Art as well. And for those that are interested, I always post once my work new pieces are completed. They get posted first on a private page or private group I have on Facebook of Susan's Insiders. So seek that out and join that group. And I offer things there. Sometimes I'll even auction off prints. Once in a while, I'll even, an older piece that's been around in my studio a little too long, I might offer that as a special, as a discount to help it find its forever wall. So, please join that private group as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here and being a part of Buddhist Biohacker.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, and Susan's also part of our One Heart, One Earth November Awakening event. So you guys can actually go see what's going on there. We're starting to get things built out on the site, and you can go to oneheartonearth.net. And the November Awakening is going to be quite amazing. And so Susan has a presentation in there as well. So thank you again, Susan. Thank you to everybody who's watching. So much love to you. And we'll be back at 30 for our 100th episode, if you guys can believe it.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.